At 74 years old, Kurt Russell has lived long enough to understand the weight of truth, the value of legacy, and the rare men who shape Hollywood from the inside. And now, after more than 6 decades in the spotlight, he's finally breaking the silence about someone he has quietly respected for years, Kevin Costner. But before we reach that moment, before we hear the truth Russell has held on to for half a lifetime, we have to understand the journey that shaped him into the man who would one day say it. Kurt Vogel Russell came into the world on March 17, 1951, in Springfield, Massachusetts. Born into a home where entertainment wasn't just encouraged, it was the family business. His father, Bing Russell, was already a familiar face to American audiences, and his mother, Louise Julia, was a dancer with the discipline and grace that turned performance into a way of life. Kurt's childhood unfolded backstage, on film sets, and in rehearsal rooms, long before he ever fully understood what acting meant. He learned early how to move, how to listen, how to play, not for an audience, but for the sheer thrill of imagination. Those early years were a blend of rough-and-tumble sports, playful curiosity, and the magic of movie sets, forming the foundation of one of Hollywood's most versatile careers. By the time most kids were still learning their multiplication tables, Kurt Russell was already working in front of the camera. His rise through the 1960s was nothing short of astonishing. As a child actor under the Disney banner, he quickly became one of the studio's brightest young talents. Walt Disney himself saw something unusual in Kurt, a spark, a presence, a natural instinct for timing and charm that couldn't be taught. But what could have become a restrictive label, Disney child star, never trapped him. Russell didn't want to be remembered as the kid who entertained America. He wanted to evolve. That's why, at the height of his early success, he stepped away. He walked off the set and onto the baseball field, determined to chase another passion. For a while, it worked. He played minor league baseball with intensity and potential until a devastating shoulder injury forced him back into an industry he thought he had left behind forever. It turned out to be one of life's strange blessings. That injury redirected him toward a destiny bigger than anything he imagined. When Russell returned to acting in the 1970s, he wasn't the same boy Disney groomed. He came back with grit, maturity, and a hunger to redefine himself. His work with director John Carpenter became the turning point. Carpenter saw in him what many didn't, a leading man capable of darkness, humor, danger, and soul. Together they created milestones. Escape from New York, where Russell introduced the now iconic Snake Plissken, and The Thing, a cold, heart-pounding masterpiece now considered one of the best sci-fi horror films ever made. These films not only solidified Kurt's identity, but pushed genre filmmaking into entirely new territory. As his career evolved, he proved something rare. He could do it all. From action hero to romantic lead, from Western icon to comedic standout, he shifted effortlessly between roles. Films like Overboard, Tombstone, Big Trouble in Little China, Miracle, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 showed a range most actors dream of.
Around this point, something becomes clear about Kurt Russell. He never chased trends. He never demanded attention. He let the work speak for him, quietly, consistently, decade after decade. And speaking of consistency, let me ask you something. Which actor do you believe has shown the most impressive evolution over their career? Someone whose growth you could actually feel with every new film. Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think. Russell's personal life reflected the same grounded spirit. In 1979, he married actress Susan Hubley after the two connected while filming a biographical project about Elvis Presley. Their marriage brought stability during a time when the spotlight was growing brighter around Russell. Their son, Boston Russell, was born in 1980, marking a turning point as Kurt navigated fatherhood while elevating his career. But after 4 years, the marriage ended amicably, and both moved forward with respect. Then came Goldie Hawn, a partnership that would become one of Hollywood's most enduring love stories. They first worked together back in 1968, but it wasn't until the early 1980s that their connection evolved into something profound. Their chemistry spilled naturally into films like Swing Shift and Overboard, where audiences could feel their genuine affection in every scene. Publicly or collapsed under pressure, Kurt and Goldie simply lived, quietly, joyfully, and authentically. Their homes across North America reflected their lifestyle. A mountain retreat in Colorado, a peaceful estate in Brentwood, a cozy escape in Vancouver, the energy of Manhattan, and the warm serenity of Palm Desert. Everywhere they lived, they built sanctuaries where fame couldn't touch them. Through the 2000s and 2010s, Russell continued taking on roles that challenged him. The dangerous Elvis-themed heist thriller 3,000 Miles to Graceland, the emotional powerhouse Miracle, Quentin Tarantino's gritty Death Proof, the intimate drama Cutlass, and the reflective Touchback. Each performance demonstrated something audiences already suspected. Kurt Russell was more than a star. He was a craftsman. But now, at 74, after all the years, the highs, the lows, the reinventions, Russell finally opened up about someone he had watched with quiet admiration, Kevin Costner. When he speaks about Costner, it's not with envy or rivalry. It's with the kind of honesty that only comes from a lifetime of learning how rare true dedication is in Hollywood. Kevin has this ability to pull you into the story, Russell said. When he's on screen, you feel it. He doesn't just act, he lives the role. Coming from Kurt Russell, a man who built his career on authenticity, that's not praise, that's a declaration.
What Russell admires most is Costner's honesty, his refusal to cheat the performance with shortcuts or ego. While Hollywood often rewards flashiness, Costner built a career on something quieter, deeper: consistency, integrity, and a deep understanding of storytelling. Russell has seen actors come and go, swallowed by fame or trapped by their own reputation. But Costner? He kept climbing. Kurt recalled working near him, interacting on projects, and observing how Costner prepares. Even after decades, he shows up like it's his first day on set, Russell said. There's no entitlement, no arrogance, just work, just craft. Russell pointed out something many fans overlook: Costner's rhythm, the subtle pacing of his performances that makes scenes feel alive even when nothing dramatic is happening. You don't see the work, but you feel the results. That, Kurt believes, is the mark of a real artist. He also spoke about the rare bond shared by actors of their generation, the ones who began when Hollywood was transitioning, evolving, reshaping itself. Russell described Costner as a man who managed something incredibly difficult, staying relevant without ever abandoning who he is. He maintains his integrity without needing the spotlight to validate him. And from a man who built a career the same way, the respect is profound. In closing, Russell didn't deliver a dramatic revelation. Instead, he offered something far deeper: a reflection. I've watched people rise and fall, he said, but Kevin stayed true to himself, to his vision, to the people he works with. For Russell, that's the truth worth telling. And for fans, it's a rare look inside the quiet admiration that exists between two Hollywood legends, one speaking openly at last, and the other standing tall through the decades, not because of fame, but because of character.
At 74, Kurt Russell didn't just reveal the truth about Kevin Costner. He honored it with gratitude, clarity, and respect.